Local information for the greater Hickory Metro. It's First Talk with Hal Rowe, 1290 AM and 102.3 FM.
First Talk with Hal Rowe, WHKY Talk Radio.
Good morning. You're listening to First Talk with Hal Rowe on WHKY Talk Radio for the greater Hickory Metro. We always like having him in the studio. Matt Pozda this morning, operator, owner, creator of Call Dad, calldad.com. And, of course, we're going to talk CEO, it says here on the paper. I guess that's the way I should address you.
Whatever you want to call me.
Everything. Chief cook and bottle washer at one point.
Yeah, that guy.
But that guy. I bet you've even answered the phone.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You did it from the get-go.
There was about a month in 2018 where I did answer the phone.
You did everything. Yeah. Very cool. Call Dad CEO Matt Pozda joins us this morning, and we're going to talk a little bit about Call Dad University, Call Dad U. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But you told me, and I got it from the ad agency as well, the very nice Miss Radke, that whether you go to work with you in the trades, you advocate for people going to work in the trades. And I wanted you to talk to that about that for just a minute.
Yeah. Well, first thing I got to say, Vince is going to get mad at me because he already warned me before we can't talk college basketball the whole time. But did you know last time we were riffing about UVA?
UVA, right?
Tony Bennett quit or resigned the next day.
It was like, I was going to say, it was like that morning or something like that we were talking about.
What did we do? Anyway, okay.
Yeah, he was gone. I was like, we were just talking about this.
Yeah.
I never talk about basketball on the air. I don't know enough to talk, but we were talking about Tony Bennett.
Yeah.
And there's something going on there. We won't talk about it. Yeah. Are they going to find out what it was? Was it recruiting? What was it?
I think it was the NIL stuff. Just too much.
Gotcha. That's what he said, that he didn't want to do that. Could you imagine what kids like Michael Jordan would have made? Ralph Sampson.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
UVA.
Yeah.
It would have been
just
incredible.
Just a different world.
Yep.
Yeah. Completely changed the sport.
Yep.
But all right, so speaking of universities.
Okay, last question. Yeah. Speaking of universities, I'm not going to mess up that segue. I was going to go back and ask you how your bracket was, but no, we're going right into talking about universities.
I was good until it went to all ones because I had some twos in there. So
can you imagine like the people at work who just said, just filled it out.
Yeah, just went progressive, through the ones.
And they're gonna win. Everybody else's. Okay, so Vince has said no more college basketball. I'm getting the big.
Yeah, I can feel. See, this is the problem. Is I can feel Vince looking at me, and I look, and he's actually looking at me. All right, so
great segue. Universities.
So universities. So yes, absolutely. I want to be clear that I want to be an advocate for the trades. Right. I think. I don't know how much you listen to Mike Rowe or familiar with Mike Rowe, but he does a great job explaining what really happened to the trades. And there was a shortage of, rightfully so, of attorneys and doctors and lawyers, architects, engineers, all that in the 70s, right? So there was this big assertive push towards getting people to college. And they did such a tremendous job with that push that they did it to the detriment of the trades. They made it almost taboo to not go to college. So you were looked down upon if you weren't in college. So because of that, it ended up where there was this dearth of people entering the trades because everybody at this point was trying to get to college. And once you go to college, nobody goes to college and then gets in the trades, right? Why would you go get a college education and then go back and get in the trades? So it made this big, big problem that now today we're really feeling the repercussions of because you hear about this massive labor shortage, right? So everybody in the trades is complaining about, well, we can't get people. We can't find people. There's nobody who wants to work anymore. And I'm at the point where I kind of disagree with that just a little bit. I don't think that it's a lack of people wanting to go into the trades. I think it's a lack of quality opportunities to get in the trades, right? So that's really what we're trying to do with Dad U is create quality opportunities where people can get into the trades.
I think that what I've seen with you and your group and your organization and the way that you're trying to do that is you're taking down a lot of the roadblocks. You're paying somebody, you're giving them insurance to learn and to get into the trades.
Correct.
And you're taking away those things that maybe make it difficult for somebody. So you're taking down a lot of the roadblocks, but then you're also, from what I understand and from what I can see, you're putting to work. You're getting them a classroom situation. They're learning that part of it, but they're also they're getting their hands on, and they're also doing classroom time as well. And that way that can really establish somebody and take away a lot of those things that may keep them from moving into the trades and giving them that quality opportunity.
Correct. So we are accredited with NC Apprenticeship. It is an accredited journeyman program.
Okay.
So what we do is we
journeyman.
break it up.
That's something that we won't go into it this morning, but that's something you're going to have if you're going to go into this particular trade.
Correct. So it's a 3-year program. So as you stated, there's classroom time and there's field time. So first 8 weeks of the program, you're sitting in a classroom. And the best part of it is, guess what? You're getting paid.
You're getting paid, right.
Right. Where can you go to school where the school will pay you? So there are a lot of quality opportunities. I just ask that individuals look at the program and make sure that they understand the program before they select one, because a lot of people claim, or you see their website or you hear their advertisements and they claim they've got a program, but their program is, hey, ride with Chuck and figure it out. And then you're, dependent on how good Chuck is or how willing Chuck is to train.
Share,
you.
right.
Correct.
And to let you know, instead of just go to the truck and get. Right, you're actually working with people who are trained to, and part of their job is to instruct you on how to do this job.
Exactly.
Last time we talked about this was a few times ago, but I remembered it, and you obviously still believe this. You're looking for people who care, and that's not just customer service care. Sure, you want that, but I thought it was interesting that you said people who care about themselves and about their families. One of the points that I saw here in the copy points that I received is that it is a job with a future, because let's face it, AI, the beautiful studios, I could be gone in a heartbeat. With ChatGPT, give me a half-an-hour radio program where the guest rambles a lot, clears his throat on the air and talks about local topics. Boom, it's set. There you go.
Yeah.
So, but not so much when you say, put in a compressor.
Correct.
Go out and build a pad to set a unit on.
Correct.
So AI. So I'll tell you what, we got to go to the break. Come back, we'll talk more about that.
Yep.
Matt Pozda joins us this morning. He is the CEO of Call Dad. More First Talk right after this. Good morning. You're listening to First Talk with Hal Rowe on WHKY Talk Radio for the Greater Hickory Metro. Call Dad CEO Matt Pozda joins us this morning. He is advocating for careers in the trades, even if it doesn't mean coming to work for Call Dad. We were talking about it right before we went to the break. AI resilience. This is something you're not going to have robots coming into your home doing this for a long, long time. And the trades, there's all kinds of different reasons. Some people say, I like working outdoors, and that's the reason they do it. They don't want to be inside. They're looking for something different in their job every day. There's a lot to say about the trades, and a lot, of course, to say about the program that you're working with or have instituted, Call Dad University.
Yeah, and look, my dad raised me very hands-on. That's actually how I ended up in this trade was, I knew electrical, I knew plumbing, I knew carpentry. The only thing I didn't know when it broke in my house was HVAC. So I had to learn it myself, and it was that curiosity of already being a hands-on person that led me down this path.
Gotcha.
But I loved working with my hand. I was taking things apart from a very young age, just out of my own curiosity, right? But I thought the path was you had to go to college. And again, I don't want to talk bad about college because I probably wouldn't be in the position I am today if I hadn't gone to college.
Right.
You and I wouldn't be able to talk about Virginia
right,
if I hadn't gone to college, right? So I'm very, very thankful and grateful for that opportunity, but I didn't need it. there are endless opportunities, and especially where things are going. You said it. Look, there will be a day at some point, who knows how far in the future, where machines will come into your home and be able to make repairs to appliances. It's going to happen. But I will tell you, it's going to happen a long time after they're capable of doing it, just because of, I don't want to get into politics, but the whole political nature of having those things run around the streets, right? So there's a lot to take into consideration when you want to protect your family and your career for the future. And I feel very confident saying that this is a career path that's going to be around for a long time. The other thing, you can go anywhere in the world and have a job.
Right. One of the things that I found as I've talked with people about the trades and about CTE in high schools and colleges is that we talked about a lot of different reasons for wanting to get into it. But as you said earlier, there are not people who are skilled carpenters. There are people who have not learned, that they've not been hands-on like you. And so the job availability is there now that you can take. But of course, like you said, in the future as well. So being able to walk into a job and being highly sought after immediately. This is not something that has to sit around for 5, 10, 15 years until, it's really going to break. No, it is breaking now. When you talk about electricians, the average age for your electrician is 55 years old.
Correct.
Right? And I don't know what it is for HVAC, but it's got to be older. Yeah. And these are the people who really know it. And so if you're coming into a situation where you've got the training, you're going to learn the new systems, which we just had out this year, what I understand. So you got to have these folks who are sharp, who are tech savvy, but yet need to learn the skill set that some of the folks who have been doing this for a number of years. And that's what you offer.
Exactly. Yeah, and here's the thing. I have a lot of family member, friends, people that I know that are, 5 years out of high school. We've got the ones who went to college, and there's a lot of them that are at that fifth year out of high school, graduated college, and they're still looking for a job.
Right.
I know a lot of people that didn't go to college that are 5 years out of high school that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars in the trades, right? Yep. And they've got a career that's protected for life. So again, I'm not advocating against anything or for anything. I'm just saying that this is a viable option that people probably should look at. Plumbers, electricians, HVAC technicians, all of these things, but find a quality opportunity. And that's what we're trying to give people, is a quality opportunity where they can provide for themselves and the family, but they have to care about themselves and they have to want that opportunity too.
I was surprised last time when you told me how many people apply, and then actually how many people make the program. You want to get people to start thinking about this today because you've got classes starting again. I did not realize this. When I went on the website and saw that you had one start at the beginning of the year, I did not know that you had another one coming up here at the end of April.
Yeah, so April 28th is when CDU, so Call Dad University, Class 8 begins. Our last class, we had well over 1,000 applications, and we ended up taking 23 individuals. So this class, hoping for same range, between 20 and 30 individuals, but we're going to be very selective about it. That's how we were talking last time about you want to find individuals who care not only about, wanting to better themselves, but those in the communities that they serve, right? We have a very, very big focus on making sure that we're providing quality work all the time. We've got quality assurance programs that we put on ourselves, right? So we've got QCCs, so quality control people who are looking at the work that we're doing now, licensed individuals. And again, we care about what we're doing. You have to care to be able to work with us. So it's a very selective program. Our acceptance rate is actually better than or lower than Harvard.
Wow.
Just to compare.
Right,
okay?
just to compare, right. Of course, and UVA and all the other great areas that are tough to get into. But something that I found to be interesting about this is that it's not just Hickory. You all have locations, and I was looking, you got some great locations and some great places to live.
Correct.
You were the one who was talking about you can do this anywhere, but you've got locations throughout the Carolinas. I went on the website and took a look at the opportunities that you have available today for customer service reps, for technicians, all throughout the Call Dad universe.
Correct. So all throughout the Carolinas. So basically I-40 going across North Carolina, stopping at Raleigh, and I-26 going across South Carolina, stopping at Charleston. So we've got the Carolinas covered. And that's awesome. I'm glad you bring that up because we've had a lot of individuals that have actually hopped between locations. Right, yeah. So people who say, hey, my wife really wants to live at the beach. It's like, well, hey, go move to Charleston.
Right.
We've got an opportunity for you. Or there's actually been a few people who say, I want to go to the mountains, or I want to be in Greenville, or I want to be in Asheville. And hey, we've got that for you. There's no question about it. Let's just make sure you're aware of it, put it in place with us, and we'll get you transferred.
And looking at the website, it was great positions too. There were some entry positions, but they weren't all entry positions.
Correct.
Some of them were for positions that if you are working in this, great example, you want to go live at the beach, boom, got your location in Charleston.
Yeah.
You can step right in, make some good money. We got a place in the mountains. So really you have that with Call Dad. You're not limited there. Just a little bit of bragging I want you to do. Great place to work is recognized as, in quotes, also featured on a magazine list of the 5,000 fastest growing privately held customers in America 3 years in a row. That's pretty good. Because we talk about the people and we talk about the quality of employees and we talk about the quality of what you're doing. But it's also nice to be recognized by outside entities that kind of know. It's like your quality control people. They're taking a look and saying, hey, thumbs up, good job. But you've also got outside entities looking at you and saying, hey, this is a place that's a good place to work. This is going to be around for a while, and they're doing good work.
Correct. They're doing independent third-party studies that we don't have input on. They're testing or surveying all of our employees. So again, it's awesome to believe that I'm building something great. It's great to hear other people say it as well. But here's the trick, and here's why I'm always indebted to Hickory, and here's why I always support this station and the markets that we serve, especially in Western North Carolina, is because all of our regional managers, the majority of our managers, guess where they're from?
Right here in this
right
area.
Here in Hickory, right? So Hickory is kind of our birthright, if you will, as an organization.
And you got some great folks. As a matter of fact, I've played golf with one who commented that my game was consistent. When you see him again, tell him my game is still consistent. What a nice way to put it. It's calldad.com.
Yep.
Calldad.com. That's all you got. All you got to do, and of course, right there on Resources tab, you'll go down, you'll find out about Call Dad University. Get your application in today. Next classes start April 28th.